Oh, we've already
Hey!
tried. Look at that.
Alright, so hopefully that's working out now.
Yep.
Hey everybody, we're trying things out on a new software, so hopefully you guys aren't catching any errors in the video. Um, so bear with us. There's also a big lag between when we're streaming with the software and on our phones, so we don't actually know if the picture is working yet or not.
Yeah, we have
Hopefully it
about
will anytime.
a 15-second delay.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of
we'll find out. We apologize, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like you're trying out new software.
Oh, you
the
got your
audio's
volume
working.
up. Yep. Okay. Audio
didn't
check is
silence
done. It does work.
Good. Look at that. Okay, great. So hopefully we sound okay to you guys.
We probably don't look okay, but what else is new?
Yeah, I didn't want to have the audio on again like last time and have the weird echoing effect. So, hey everybody. So this is week number 2, and
It's my
Yeah.
my turn to buy the beer this week.
yes.
So I'm gonna let you know this is the
We're
only
gonna-
time I'm gonna buy this beer for us.
Okay.
This is the most expensive
You know. Oh,
beer
okay.
I bought before.
I was gonna say, like, I really hope that the purpose of this isn't to be like, here's a Walgreens beer.
Well, I'll let you know now. I had 2 ideas,
Okay.
but because this is our second time, I went with the nicer idea. Because
Okay.
my other idea was Colt 45.
Oh God. Well, that isn't the worst thing. I think you can go lower grades than that.
Okay.
But
So,
okay, what'd you got? And are you guys drinking anything? Indeed, the Queen whiskey barrel aged imperial stout. You like to drink bread.
Yes,
You like to drink pumpernickel. Like, that's crazy.
it sounded really good.
Whiskey barrel aged imperial stout.
Yeah.
That's a lot of words
It was
in a beer.
$20
I think-
for a 4-pack of cans.
Max would say that this tastes like a cow, like a Highland cow or something.
This is what a man tastes like. Wait, no.
All
I
right, you guys are this is live.
This is what men
Oh,
drink.
Evidently.
Oh, it's been a long week.
All right. Well, cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
10.5%. My goodness.
That's why it only
It's like
comes in
that
a 4-pack.
big beer that I brought last time. This is gonna have the same content of it. I have dog hairs on my.
Wow.
I can.
Oh, man.
I did not expect that.
Neither did I.
What were you thinking?
I thought I'd try expensive beer.
This
Oh, man.
this tastes like they poured scotch into
Yes, a can, and then a
into
little...
like a Guinness.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's like probably 60% Scotch, 40% Guinness.
That is a lot. Okay, so Imperial Stout
Oh.
by Indeed.
Oh,
I really should have just brought out the Lagavulin.
Ah.
Then at least I would have been prepared for it.
I've never tried this. I want to try something
Oh my
new,
gosh.
and lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not terrible. It's just that like there's so much flavor.
Yeah, it's
That you have to prepare yourself. That's why that first taste was like such a kick in the testicles.
not like it's a subtle flavor either. It's like here's all of it at once, and then we'll kind of trickle it off.
Yeah. Okay. After about like 4 sips, it finally starts to be palatable.
It's because
So-
your mouth goes numb.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This I feel like I've had another Imperial Stout. I don't actually know who from, but this is very on par with
Yeah.
anything that I've had before.
This is one of those like I just want to forget the week very very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I just go for hard liquor then.
This
All
is
right.
pretty much what this is.
Notes of vanilla, chocolate, and oak.
I don't taste any of that.
Well, it tastes like you're chewing on a log, so I don't know. I get the oak.
Oh, you're the one that's chewed on a log before, so you'll
Yeah,
know.
That's true. That's true. It's actually not terrible.
No, it's not. It's just you have to understand what you're drinking before you try it.
Right.
essentially.
Yeah, you really do. Definitely. Well, hey, shall we jump right into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is it. Okay. Yeah, as far as things going on with the channel, obviously it's been kind of silence in terms of the episodes for a little while from us. I mean, I guess we can share a little bit. We've been running into some drivetrain quirks, and we're kind of working all that stuff out, which is a big part of what's holding up the whole process.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have an idea of what we want to put in. It's a matter of finding it and hunting one down and all that fun stuff.
Right. Original
puts it at a
plans,
standstill.
we're running into a few barriers to it, but we don't want to share too much just because we do want you guys to at least enjoy the episodes and be able to kind of follow along with what we're dealing with. And there's a few things that we kind of learned about. The viewers know if they're following our pages at all. They know that we were going to put a 5-liter in it.
Yep, we were.
So there's a few nuances to those engines that we're discovering was kind of a quirk, especially with the one that we were going to put in. That one, if it was an older 5-liter, I think this would be a completely different situation for us.
I think we would still have some of the same problems, but especially on the electrical side, the electrical is mind-blowing.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it seems almost overcomplicated.
Right.
So you can't just toss a carb on it and call it a day.
No, it really wasn't. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like I'm kind of dangling a carrot a little bit with people, but we don't want to share too terribly much just yet because, the episode, we want it to be entertaining to you at least.
No spoilers.
But so we are working out the details on another drivetrain and associating components with that, which, I think in the end is going to be the better route anyway.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier to install, I feel.
Easier to tune, easier to make power, easier to blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
all of the things.
Yeah, so it crosses off
It's
bunch
one of
things
those,
we
like,
need.
I think it's probably just, like, the more superior motor to run anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Completely right.
that's just a lot of carrot dangling for you guys. So, yeah.
So, anyways, happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers watching.
We didn't put together a Father's Day post.
No, we had a short
wanted to.
Sunday. Sunday's normally our garage day. And with Father's Day and your son's birthday, we
Precisely.
had a very short day, which is fine. We're kind of at a standstill, like we said.
Yeah.
So, happy Father's Day, since we are 4 or 5 days behind now.
Yep. Cheers to all the dudes out there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of leads into the whole, dad moment of the week. So I was trying to think of one because, honestly, like, I've been kind of up to my ears between my full-time job and also with working on my son's bedroom. So we've got a little 3-bedroom house, and we've got 1 bedroom that's just basically completely empty right now because I've been working on it. And then we're stuffed in one, and then kiddo's stuffed in the other. And, well, I've got a daughter on the way, and we're going to be moving my son over to this other bedroom. So,
How old's your son?
2.
Okay.
Because, he just turned 2 on Sunday.
Just saying, like last week, you had to ask me 4 times.
I know. How many times are you going to ask me this time?
Probably at least 6.
It's a few. Anyway, so yeah, the bedroom, right? So it needed a door. It's got old crappy paint on it. This house is old as hell. And so I was going to tear out the door and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't had a ton of time with my little guy, but obviously Sunday was his birthday. So he's turning out to be just a little car nut. Really anything with wheels on it, he's just obsessed with.
So cool.
So we got him a handful of little things and we've got a few really old Tonka toys. And so I gave him super old. I think it was my wife's mother's or her brother's, something like that.
Okay.
It's got to be 40 years old or something like that. Maybe older. No, actually it would be 50 years old.
Yeah.
More in the ballpark of about 50 years old. And it looks like it too. It's all metal bodied and plastic tires and all that kind of stuff. But it's not old enough to have the rubber tires. Those were super old. Yeah. But anyway, so we gave him that. That was a riot watching him just light up. Because he doesn't care that it's got rust on it and it's kind of dented and beat up.
Holy
He's just
crap,
like, oh my God. Like, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go run stuff over with it.
And then he went and he grabbed all the other toys that we had given him for his birthday, and he tossed those in the back of it, and then he dumped them all out, and put them all back in, and then dumped them out. And
awesome.
I built a big play set that we had acquired in the yard as well. So it's got, Man, it's this barrel-aged...
yeah, I know.
Barrel-aged Imperial Stout. So it's got 2 different slides on it. One's a corkscrew, and then the other one is just like the normal, like 9-foot, just it has a little bump in it, and then kicks you out, right? And his favorite thing now is to take his cars and push them down the slides. So he's getting a kick out of it. So yeah, birthday was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what any good dad moments for you?
Well, I've been preparing for my first disc golf tournament, so we've been taking the kiddos to go play some of the easier courses. My son, who's 2, loves it because I think he just gets to throw stuff. So he's like, "This is awesome. I get to throw things and it's okay." And we've discovered he's really good at hitting people.
Okay.
We went out the other day. He smacked my wife once, and then like 3 holes later,
Oh, we're talking about like
with the
throwing
disc.
things, not like he walks up and he sucker punches you.
No. He doesn't take after Dad.
Okay.
I don't hit my wife. I love her dearly. Yeah. But no,
unless she lips off, right?
Or the beer's cold. Not cold when she makes it to me.
You do the same thing with your daughter?
Yeah, she's a little young.
She gets a little bit more of a bye just because she hasn't been around long enough to know. Right?
I said, "Daddy, pop." Yeah. Come on, you know what that looks like.
Right. So Gary, on your son, he's lethal.
He threw a disc, smacked my wife, and then like 3 or 4 holes later, goes to throw a disc and gets me right below the knee, like right below the kneecap. And I looked at him, I'm just like, "You're too young for me to get mad at you." Come on. My daughter, on the other hand, though, this goes back to last week and the whole rocks and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Decided she was going to try to get something down. So we have a porch swing in the back with like a canopy on it, and there was something stuck up there she wanted to get down. And instead of just saying, "Hey, Dad, can you stand up and get me that?" She thought throwing rocks at it were going to get it down. And
cool.
She chucked a rock, and it smacked the side of the house. And she got...
Just the house, though, not a window.
There's no window there, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
But she got rather
just
upset
a matter of time.
she spent the next half hour in her bedroom because she was throwing rocks.
Good
Lord.
Lord.
What are you doing, kid? Like,
I don't know.
Pull a chair up, do something different.
There's just something like innately wired in us to love throwing rocks. Because my son is like that. You get him down by, especially like water and stuff. He just loves to throw rocks into water.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just like you as soon as you crap out a little human, they just want to pick stuff up and throw it.
Human.
I
feel sorry for your wife if she's watching this.
Yeah, sorry, honey. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny how that works. Though these kids, they just love to throw crap, and then you got to like try and explain to them why they shouldn't do that, and they're just like, "Why? Like I can do it."
And that's the worst thing about taking them to play disc golf. On like one hand, I'm like, "Awesome, we're doing this family event. We're all outside doing things." And then we get home, I'm like, "No, you can't throw your plate at the table. Like that. That's not how that works. Yes, they're the same shape, but that's an inside thing, and that's an outside thing."
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of tricky to try and establish those expectations.
Yeah, especially to a 2-year-old. To the 4-year-old, easy to kind of to understand, but the 2-year-old just kind of looks at it like, "What? What are you talking about?
Why are you even approaching me?"
They both have the same action if I throw them.
Yeah. Well, I think the neighbor just rolled through.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Does your little guy? Does he light up when he sees anything with a loud exhaust?
He is obsessed with big trucks. He loves buses. He loves cranes. He loves bobcats. All that kind of stuff. So that's cool. Anything big he really likes. Harper just likes cool cars. Like we saw an old T-Bucket the other day, and she wigged out a little bit.
Oh, no kidding.
Cool. The problem though is she has same reaction to a T-Bucket as she does a Cavalier. So I've been trying. She's like, She's like, "Look at that race car." I'm like, "Honey, that's not even a Z24." Like, no.
Not even a Z24.
So we're working on it.
Yeah. Well, my son's the same way. Yeah, it's like anything that's so loud and rumbly, even if it's like a 1988 Olds or something like that, and there's no exhaust on it, and it's just like full of people.
Yeah,
like
it's got the Minnesota custom exhaust where it just fell off.
Rod off, yeah. He's just all about that. But yeah, it's like when motorcycles come rolling through and stuff, he goes nuts.
They both
got
love
a lot
bikes.
of neighbors with bikes.
They both love the BMW, like to the point where Roman, if the BMW's parked out of the garage and we're leaving somewhere and we hop in the Pilot or the Subaru, he will have a meltdown.
Oh wow!
He'll be like, "No, I want to take the fun car."
Smart kid.
Very smart kid. It's just like the BMW was broken a few weeks ago, and it's like, no,
he's all
like,
bumming out about it.
That's gotta stay. It gets hot.
Right. Looks like Bro Dizzle says, "Damn it, I just tuned in. I feel like I missed something important."
As always.
8-11.
But you have a DeLorean, so just go back in time and watch.
There it is.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Exactly. I think what he's talking about is the whole conversation about the drivetrain.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
No, just teasers that aren't teasers.
Just a little bit of teasers.
They're teasers of teasers.
Yeah, so the original plan might not be going in. We'll just give you that little bit. If you really are curious, shoot us a message or rewatch the video and we kind of explain it a bit at the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, so you got your misfire and your overheating issue figured out with the E30.
So I put a new injector in cylinder 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now she runs like a top. She was getting extremely hot though. So I found out that I broke the coolant temp switch when I was putting the intake back in.
Oh.
It's just a 2-wire. So it must get
That's
hot,
cool.
expands, activates it.
What does that turn on? Does that turn on fans?
Not me. I have no clue because it's got a mechanical fan.
Weird, but does it have an electronic clutch? It's exclusively.
It's mechanical. It's strictly mechanical.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure what it turns on.
Is that a thing? Mechanical clutch? That's really just
it's just there.
AC compressor thing. Yeah.
So
okay. Disregard that.
I put a new switch in it. It was seeping ever so slightly, so it's still getting hot. And all I did was snug it down, and she's been great ever since.
That's hilarious.
I took Harper. Harper loves that car. That's why that car will never be sold.
How old's your daughter?
She's the same age as your IQ.
Perfect.
She's 4.
Roughly 4. Okay, good.
Maybe 3 after this.
Well, yeah, man. It's that barrel-aged stout.
But she gets to ride in the front seat in that car because there's no airbag. And she's in a booster seat now, so she can just kind of hang out, and her little feet dangle off the Porsche seat. It melts my heart to see her sitting there.
That's awesome.
So we went for a rip over one of our bridges to Superior, and at the other end of the bridge is a roundabout, and there's no traffic. I would not do this if there was any risk whatsoever. But we dropped her.
That's a good caveat.
We dropped her into second going around that roundabout, and as I started to exit the corner, I just gunned it. Squealed the tires, the back end got a little, not squirrely, but started to slide a little bit. We ripped back up over the bridge to Minnesota, and all I hear from the passenger seat is just this little giggle the whole time. Windows down, her hands up. She's just giggling.
That's good. That's a good sign.
It's a very good sign.
Yeah.
Until the following day, we took the pilot to go somewhere. She's like, I want to go fast. I'm like,
nice.
We're in the pilot.
Oh, man. I know.
We're just going to cruise.
My little guy, he loves taking the Subaru everywhere because it's kind of loud. You get a little bit of a burble
and
inside.
You get the turbo noise and all that.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I think the wife likes the blow off because in mine it's a bypass valve.
Yeah.
But because I've got the intake on it, you can actually kind of hear the whoosh inside.
Yeah, you hear it actually.
So you hear it spool up. You hear it we're reaching wastegate, and then you get a good afterwards. And the wife kind of giggles whenever she hears the little bit of a whoosh. But kiddo. He loves, especially the tunnels. That's why I think, he might be primed to be a car guy. Because once we see the tunnels, one, he just, loves to drive through them as it is.
Well, yeah,
but
he's
I get on it. I'll downshift a little bit. I'll go back down to, third gear or so and doing, a little pull. You'll just hear him, squealing in the back seat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So see,
shaping up to be a little car guy,
We need to find, an Auto X event that's just really chill with having children ride along. Even if it's not super aggressive, I think the kiddos, at least through the cone course, would probably think it's kind of cool.
I think that's going to be a tough sell, because there's just so much liability with that stuff. I think Power Cruise is, 12-year-olds?
16.
Oh, it's 16?
I'm pretty sure it's 16.
You have to have a 16-year-old? That's the youngest?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the youngest.
We'll have to look into that, because, that's one of the only events that I can think of where they permit to have other people in the car, and there might be
There's
kids.
got to be something, because I see YouTube videos of people with their kiddo, helmet on and everything, and they go drifting.
Right. Well, that could also be that they're a pro drifter or something.
I can spell pro drifter.
Yeah, so that should be qualifying.
I have a rear-wheel drive car.
So if you guys happen to know, let us know if there's a event where you can actually cruise the kids, that kind of thing.
That would be a lot.
Because it would be awesome to take kids out on the track, especially if it's if it's not competitive. If you're not pushing the car to the balls of the wall, obviously that's too much liability.
That's the beauty of Auto X is it's extremely low risk to begin with. That's kind of the whole purpose behind it. And if you have your kiddo in it, you just don't go, like you said, balls out.
Yeah, unless you're in like a Montero, then you shouldn't go for 30. It's going to tip over.
Well, you're in a Subaru, you probably should go with 30 just because it might...
Blow a head gasket?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in a BMW, so who knows what will fail in it.
I don't know. More like your pocket, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to drain you of all your money. You got an old Beamer, though. Those things aren't that bad.
I've done the math, though, on the money I've spent on that car versus how much I paid for it, and it makes me cry.
You're talking to a dude with a Subaru, with a turbo Subaru.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be like, well, I've spent so much. I've spent like $2,500 on this car, when it's like a short block is like $2,500.
Yeah, fair enough. You probably have about what I have into the entire car into your motor.
Yep. Yeah, and I was just visiting with a dude, actually. I hooked him up with the banjo bolt on the top of the turbo.
I remember you bringing it up.
I hooked him up with one of them, and he was telling me about what he's got into his motor, and he's got very similar setup. I don't know if he actually went with the Type RA like I did, but he did the whole OE short block, kind of all the associating mods around it, and I think he might have needed to pay somebody to do some of the work. He said he's got something like $6,000 into it. Ouch. Subarus are not cheap. I'm sure you guys have figured that out by now.
If you want cheap, buy a Honda Civic.
Right.
I'm sorry, they're still like the cheapest.
Our Honda Civic. We might actually be selling the Civic. We're pondering.
If you got $1,000 and the itch to race, we have a car for you. We'll even scrape our names off the side of it so you can put your own name.
There it is. Yeah, you can continue with the whole Yeti persona on it and everything.
Extra $500 for copyright laws, but
well, yeah, exactly. Anytime that it's seen and it's tagged in public, you owe us some funds back. Yeah. no, we're considering. Maybe picking up something else to be like the Dad Mods race car. But we're not 100% decided yet. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, we'll have that conversation when we actually pick up said vehicle.
Yeah, because that's also contingent on a few other things that would be happening that might affect some things with you as well. But we're doing a lot of carrot dangling in this episode, this live feed.
Neither one of us like vegetables, so we should probably move on.
I love vegetables.
I don't mind them, but like my favorite vegetable is tomato. When it's cooked kind of into a sauce.
Your favorite?
With cheese and pepperoni on top of it.
Oh, pizza.
And then cooked in an oven for 20 minutes.
Oh, cool. That's your favorite vegetable. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where to go with that.
I like onions.
Yeah.
My wife eats really, really healthy, does the whole P90X workout thing. I drink beer. So she really helps me with eating the vegetables and all that. She's constantly eating salad and grapes and strawberries and all that. Mm-hmm. I love onions. I will eat onions on pizza or a burger or just by themselves. I love onions. She hates them. And I think that's kind of weird because I'm like, you love fruits and veggies and I don't.
Yeah.
But I like onions and you hate
I don't think the wife and I have anything that's too significant that we don't see eye to eye on. Like, I'm not a huge spaghetti fan. And her family grew up eating spaghetti at least once a week.
I like spaghetti because you can make it once and have food for 4 days.
You can. Yeah. You definitely can. I'm more of like a Thai food kind of person.
Okay. I've had it like once. I think that's what we had down in the city.
Yes. Amazing Thailand.
Yes.
Shout out to Amazing Thailand.
The best chicken fried rice I've ever had in my life.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, they were excellent. So good. Were you with when we went to the sushi place?
No, because I don't do sushi.
You don't do sushi.
I don't do anything that lives in water. I do not like fish, by any means.
Anything that lives in water?
I will.
You won't eat anything.
I will try it. I will always try it
legs?
once. Never had frog legs. I'll try them, but I have never had anything that lives in water and be like, wow, I could really eat that again.
You don't like fish at all?
Nope.
You live in a state with 10,000 lakes.
Yeah.
And you won't eat fish.
I live in a state with, 20 million people. You don't see me eating people, do you?
Okay.
No. Your logic is
well, maybe that's your problem.
I've just got to open up to more experiences.
Yeah, precisely.
I will try it. My father-in-law is...
Human?
Yes.
I'll try. Well, tell me about your father-in-law. Does he have a killer room? You might.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's big into fly fishing and just fishing in general.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's cooked trout and stuff and salmon and stuff for me, and it wasn't bad, but it still had that really fishy aftertaste.
Okay.
I'm just like, I can't do it.
Well, what about like halibut? You ever had a halibut? Halibut
Maybe.
is like the steak of the sea. It's pretty good.
Yeah, but then why wouldn't I just have a steak?
Yeah, that's probably a good rationale.
Oh, I just not have a good steak.
I suppose.
I'll try
know,
it.
man.
If you ever want to provide dinner one night and cook fish, I will absolutely try it. But don't be offended when after I take that first bite, I order pizza.
Technically, wouldn't we be of the sea? Because if you think about it, we evolved from a single cell organism.
Okay.
Weren't we at some point in our evolution, like, sea dwelling?
Yeah.
Isn't that some of the theory?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Yeah, but you still aren't going to cannibalize people, so it doesn't matter.
No,
Yeah.
I'll watch movies about cannibals
Okay.
because I like Anthony Hopkins, but
Yes.
I will not eat another person.
Oh my god, what did I see the other day? I saw something about Anthony Hopkins on social media, and he was doing something. It was the weirdest thing because he kind of like looked like, I don't know, like if a chimp was on Adderall. Like he was, he was like he was just doing weird things like grunting at the camera and acting like
What
crazy.
the hell were you watching?
I don't know what. Oh yeah, it was like Anthony Hopkins. Something like heavy metal. It's something like that. So if you go to YouTube and you search like Anthony Hopkins like listens to heavy metal or something like that, like he's like holding the phone and like moving it around and grunting at it and stuff. It's crazy. You wonder if the guy is like kind of slipped off the deep end.
Oh, probably. I'm sure most celebrities have
Google it.
one way or the other. I mean,
Right.
look at Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, oh, I adore that
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I adore him still. When everybody's like, that guy is slipped off the deep end, I love him. Yeah, I know he sounds like he's very hippie-ish,
Well, he's gone through a lot of dramatic stuff.
Yes.
I love the fact that he did a movie and got Cannibal Corpse to be in the movie.
Oh, Ace Ventura 2, right?
One.
One has Cannibal Corpse
one has
in it?
Cannibal Corpse
Yeah.
for like a minute.
Yes.
And it's like,
that is pretty wild.
That's pretty sweet.
Did he get that? Was
I
he
don't
the
know
guy
if he
who
got
stepped up?
that, but I kind of got the impression from an interview he did that he's kind of into that style of music a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So you may have had some influence or not. I don't know. Jim Carrey, if you're watching this, let us know.
If you're watching this, Jim Carrey.
He could be.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if we had like 7 viewers and Jim Carrey was one of them?
Well, no, because it's Jim Carrey, we'd have 7 viewers and 6 of them would be Jim Carrey.
Bingo. Man, I adore that guy. Have you seen Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
An episode or two.
Okay. The very first one has
so
Jim
bad.
Carrey in it. It is so good. It is so good. I mean, like, he's so personable and he's so sweet still. And he still has like ridiculous, goofy self. But like now he's also very I don't even know how you describe him. He's kind of has this like certain like peace about him with the world.
I think he's accepted life.
Yeah.
He just
yeah,
kind
exactly.
of
he's like accepted
yeah, he's like, this is just
reality.
How life is.
Yeah. For better, for worse.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all dealt a hand,
God.
and there's nothing we can do about it, and that's life. We
Right.
Just live life.
Yeah. What other... I'm trying to think, like, because Jim Carrey goes back to, like, a lot of our childhoods.
More yours, but
He was pre-you. I'm 6 years older than Donnie.
I was
so
alive in
it's-
the 90s, but I didn't really get into movies till like the early 2000s.
Yeah, so you were more than just a cluster of cells in the 90s.
Yeah.
You were
I
actually
was
human.
there. One of my favorite memories of life, though, involve you and Jim Carrey. And Sean McGuire, I don't know if he's watching this or not. You two were helping me go look for a Volkswagen Jetta.
Oh, boy. Were we?
I believe that's what we were looking for. And we were cruising around in my stepdad's Pontiac, Montana. Which was
okay. I see where this is going
which
now.
was turd
I remember
brown.
this.
Turd brown is a nice way to put it. It was
Yeah.
nasty.
Well, between the brown color and the brown rust.
And the brown interior.
And the brown interior.
It had a VHS player with a drop-down screen in it, which was all the rage, I guess, for that
yeah.
thing. And you two were watching Ace Ventura 2 in the back.
Yeah,
while
when
I
nature
was
calls,
driving,
yeah.
like, hey, should we stop at this dealership? And he has just no input.
Yeah, we're just watching Ace Ventura. That's so funny. I completely shut that out of my memory, probably because we were driving in that piece of shit.
Yeah, probably. I try to, but then I just look back, it just makes me laugh a little bit. Like, that was
Oh man,
just
I know, that was
dumb.
so funny. That was a long time ago, and there was 3 of us in the car, and 2 of us were in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like a little
that's so
chauffeur
funny.
should put a little hat on.
And that thing must have been like the bee's knees at that point, because wasn't that like a 99 or a 97 or something like
early
that?
2000s.
Was it? Okay.
But
Because it actually had like the flip down stuff, and it was all like built into it.
Yep,
if I
and it
remember
had the
correctly.
2 captain's chairs in the middle with the bench seat in the back.
Oh, that's so funny. So when I was a kid, we had a Ford Econoline growing up, and it was like, it was the ones with like, yeah, the captain's seats that have like the big fold down arms on them, and they like swiveled a little bit and stuff. And this thing had, and this is one of my favorite features of it, it had like running boards, but on the ceiling. I don't know what you'd call that, like ceiling boards or whatever. But it had the boards up on the top, and it had lights underneath it. So it was like mood lighting. So you'd flip it on, and the thing was like, you know, it had these like, little mood lights on the top of it, and it like kind of glowed nice, and you just like cruise in this big van and
It's funny you say that
listen to
because
fog hats and Floyd.
my buddy Dylan, who I've grown up with since I was like 4 or 5, his parents had it was an Astro van, but it was one of the deluxe editions that had the same thing.
Right.
It had the weird thing though was the rear bench seat folded out into a bed, so you had
That's amazing.
You had mood lighting and a bed.
Shag and wagon.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's totally what the Econoline had
I was
in
too
it,
young
too.
to understand that at the time, and then I hit like 16, and I'm like, oh,
Like, this makes so much
that's
sense. Like,
why they got the van.
this is why adults engineered this.
Yep, I get
Yeah.
this now. And now, being almost 30, if something happened to the Forester, that van is on my list of possibilities to replace it.
Well, and it's funny, like, you and I, for whatever ridiculous reason, just have an affinity for vans.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have an obsession with, like, I wouldn't say it's an obsession. I appreciate 80s vans. 80s Dodge vans.
Yeah, Dodgy Bod.
Because of this ridiculous video that I saw a while back that was like, and I don't know how to pronounce this guy's, Noriyahu or something like that. He's a white dude. Channel's name is some Japanese thing. And, like, he covers a lot of like drift stuff from Japan. It's actually a fantastic channel, right? But he covered Dodgebon drifting, which is like old Dodge vans built for drifting, and they do this in Japan. Like, you would never expect, which is like the drift capital of the world, that they would be building Dodge vans and drifting these things, but they do like crazy.
Well, the history behind it was super cool too, because he was saying that it originated because they would haul their race motorcycles in these vans.
Right.
And then they're like somebody
that.
dared somebody, like, oh, I bet you can't slide this corner. Yeah. And then bam, they're all like, yeah, we're going to slide this corner
like,
with vans.
We're going to
all the time.
Slam these things down.
They put
they almost all have
on them.
Yeah, that's right.
Gorgeous on them.
I know, they're so funny. Yeah, so that's a big part of it. I mean, obviously, I grew up with vans. Like, yeah, we had the Econoline. We actually had a Safari at one point. That thing was super cool.
I need a van.
Wasn't quite as pimped out as the Econoline, but I love them. And I think it'd be super cool someday to build a Dad Mods tow pig out of like an old school van. I'm like sliding off this thing.
It's because it's hot in here and you're just sweating.
It's terrible. I don't know where you guys are at. We're in northern Minnesota, and it's this hot. It's ridiculous. It's got to be...
We're in a closed garage.
Can you see the thermometer?
It's in the red.
It's in the red. Okay, so we're at red line in this little garage.
And we're talking, so there's more hot air, and the lights are on. And we're drinking 10% whiskey beer.
Yeah, we are.
So now we're dehydrated as well.
Whiskey barrel-aged Imperial Stout by Indeed.
By the Queen. Oh, it is the Queen.
It's funny because everything that's happening in the viewfinder is like backwards. So I'm having to get the hang of that. So I'm like, oh, there's the label. I'm trying to show you guys. Anyway.
Oh, man, this is why nobody watches our stuff.
Or it could be why people will eventually watch it. They'll come back and they'll find it and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you guys are
we'll be in our
really
50s
funny.
and people will be like, holy crap, how did this never catch on?
And that's fine.
It's a hidden gem.
That's totally fine because I'll be 50 and probably an old pervert by that point. I'll just be like the guy sitting on my porch and I'll be like,
What?
Let's look at her.
What's this?
I don't know. Because that point, like, makes you wonder what PC culture is going to affect at that point. So it's like, I don't know if I can say any of the perverted things that be running through my mind.
Well, being that you're old, it's probably more like...
Sorry, honey. You know where I was going with that.
It's probably more talking about just making it to the bathroom on time at that point. Like, we're going to have to go.
At 50? At 50, that's what you're planning for 50 years old? I just want to make it to the bathroom on time?
Low standards, you work your way up from there. Look,
okay.
if that's my number one standard, and I can still walk and drive a car and not be a nuisance to society...
How can you drive a car if you don't think you're going to get to the bathroom on time?
Well, if I drive a fast car,
you'll just have to cut a hole in the seat and put a bucket underneath it.
I need a bumper dumper.
There we go. See, Top Gear was ahead of their time.
Yes, bumper
Or maybe
dumper.
they're not ahead of their time because they're all in their 50s or 60s.
I don't know how old they were when they filmed that episode.
I bet in their 50s.
Probably early 50s.
And I bet you Hammond was in his early 50s, yeah. So they're all... using the bumper dumper. I bet you they moved that over to their M5s and...
The bumper dumper? Oh, if we get a tow pig, it's got to have a bumper dumper on it.
Well, we could put a bumper dumper on the Subaru. All we got to do is take a trailer hitch and weld up some pieces and attach a...
It will look just like the engine bay.
Toilet seat. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No.
So you guys got any ideas about what to put a bumper dumper on?
Dodgy Bond?
Mm-hmm.
I just got this image of this Dodge van sliding a corner and then a toilet seat just off the back of it.
That would be pretty great, especially if you could put like a seatbelt on that, so somebody could like stay on it.
Got a little helmet on.
Like, I'm just imagining like if somebody's drifting there, and like if you're sitting on the toilet seat on the back of it, and you've got a seatbelt on, like in theory you'd be able to stay there. Can you imagine the trail they'd be leaving behind that thing? It'd be like Mario Kart.
You would be scared shitless, but you'd be the perfect place.
That's ridiculous. That's a pretty good dad joke, but we're not going to end on that. I'm having too much fun.
No, we're not. What time? Oh, we got plenty of time to keep talking.
Yeah. How long have we been doing this? It's
40
only
minutes.
43 minutes. we aim for a half an hour, but if we can go longer than it.
This thing is definitely a sipper because I still have some in there because I'm afraid to just finish drinking it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very COVID friendly, but I've got the beer from last week still in the fridge. Well, no, we wouldn't have to sip out of the same can. I've got 2 glasses.
Oh, okay.
That was a stretch.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We need to switch things up.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys are sipsing on. Doesn't look like we've got any comments on any sips, what you guys are drinking on, but...
I think we're going to switch to water after this.
No kidding. I know, it's just like, I feel like I'm sweating this stuff out at this point.
I feel like I'm in the rainforest, but without anything involving the rainforest.
Yeah.
It's just hot and
okay,
humid.
we don't have any fancy wood in the garage.
No.
A lot of pine.
There's no lizards.
There's no lizards, no.
I don't see any birds.
We do have a panda.
We do have a panda.
Oh, we should probably tell the story on this.
Do you want to share the story of how you acquired said
Okay,
panda?
so... one of our local car clubs, the Duluth Superior Car Enthusiasts, there's been an ongoing joke about the sad panda. And so, sad panda gets passed along to people who have, we'll say, mishaps with their cars. And I was the next to receive it because of It was the
mishap.
It was the rabbit.
Oh, you
That's
have
right.
the
Okay.
rabbit? Oh,
so it wasn't even the Subaru, so I think that's why I still have it.
I have a story I want to share about the rabbit before you get too far.
Okay, go for it.
So I got a phone call one day because I got off work earlier than everybody else. Or maybe I had the day off that day. I think I had the day off. About, hey, can you go move the rabbit?
Yeah.
Sure, it's sitting in Sean's driveway. Like, where do you want to move to? Like, that's a good spot for it. Followed by, it's in the middle of the road. We got a call from the cops.
Yeah. So I'm in Chicago. I'm at Mods vs. Rockers. I can't remember what year it was.
I think it was the second year.
It was the second year of it, right? So me, the Sean that was mentioned earlier, and Brad.
Is he our Stig then? The Sean?
The Sean. If we ever actually build this stuff long enough that it can go on at the track, then we need somebody to drive it. Sean could be the Stig.
I'm fine with that.
So we're down in Chicago, right? And yeah, I think Sean got the phone call that he's like, your is a cop. It was like, your Volkswagen Rabbit is in the middle of the street. So we call you up and you race over there. And the silliest thing is like, and this really comes back to me just being a dumbass. And I think I left it in neutral, and I had it wheel chocked, right? Because when you got in it, it wasn't in gear, right?
I don't think so. I don't remember
So it was just wheel chocked, and the thing rolled out of his driveway across a major road. Well, I should say major. It's a relatively busy road.
It's a busy road.
It's got a
neighborhood.
Bunch of row houses down the street, so there's a lot of activity. So this thing rolls into the middle of this fairly used road, and this guy has to go and rescue it. You didn't get it started? You had to push it, didn't you?
It drove right up the
driveway. It drove. And that's
it's the only time I got to drive that car. I think there's a brief moment I thought about buying it from you.
Yes.
And then
because you're going to get rid of your Mark IV, and you're like, could I daily this? And I was like, you could.
You're like, I need the money.
You could.
We're not filming a YouTube channel yet, so I'll screw you over. And,
come on.
Now, the motor never got pulled on that, though, right?
No, it got pulled. So it was an 8-valve to begin with. It was an 8-valve and a 4-speed, and then I swapped in a 16-valve, a high-compression 16-valve, and that's when I driven it. I put it on CBR 900RR carbs and got it running, and it ripped right up until it started on fire, then, which is why I have this.
Then I bought the CBR carbs and all that.
You bought so I had 2 pairs, right? Yeah. I had the ones that caught on fire that had the really nice velocity stacks that I powder coated. And then the backup set, so you could combine the 2 of them.
16-valve I was going to put in another Volkswagen project, which I started learning more and realized I didn't want to catch my project on fire like him. So I just got rid of all of it.
Well, the motor was awesome. That thing would rip. You'd shift it into second, and it would just rev up and burn motor. The tires off. And I
have a fuel-injected,
that's right.
Motor.
So you guys will probably see that before too long. Hopefully this year you'll get to see it.
Yeah, we'll probably get the next Ford video out first before you come across that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got an old Volkswagen air-cooled that we're going to be doing a few things to. Air-cooled. Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll be rad.
But, yeah. So that's...
Yeah, so that was the first time that I acquired Sad Panda. And I think really... it makes sense up until probably recently that I still have it because of the failing of the Subaru. But
in your defense, though, how many of our friends have constantly been building projects, though?
Well, definitely, and that's why I think maybe it's time to pass on Sad Panda to the next Sad Sap, who's blown something up. So who might that Sad Sap be? We're going to have to give that a little bit of thought. Who's blown their stuff up?
First comes to mind is Charlie, but the CRX never technically ran, so it can't be blown up.
And, I mean, it was a long time ago, but he did run a 32-second quarter mile.
It's got to be my favorite drag racing thing ever.
I could give that to him just based on that.
I wish we had... Actually, somebody has video of that.
Oh, I think Corbett has it. So, okay. Way back in, I think, 2010, somewhere around there.
I'm going to say 2012.
2012, something like that. Okay, so we had a buddy. He had a Tiburon, or Tuscany Elisa. And,
best sounding V6 car ever, though.
That
thing sounded gorgeous.
I don't know how, but this one sounded so freaking good. So we went to Modern Automotive Performance held an event called Proving Grounds, and they still do, except this year is a mess, and so it didn't really technically happen, but it didn't at the full extent. But so he brought his Tiburon down. I had the Turbo Del Sol at the time. You had the Legacy wagon.
Yep. I slept naked in that wagon, and then accidentally woke up in the back of it
with Charlie
without any blankets or anything. I was just laying down.
Oh man! And I think so. Joey had the Civic Hatch.
Yep.
600 horse Civic Hatch.
I think Corbett may have had the EP3 there.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we had a big group of people, cool cars. We were all drag racing, and Charlie I think was one of the first ones to go and do a pass. And his very first time, he had never raced in the quarter mile before. His very first time. I want to say it was, on the 60-foot? Is that when it happened?
I think so.
So, launches, intake pops off. So the whole hard pipe to filter and MAF came completely off of the intake manifold, and he ended up with
32-second, if I remember right.
Yeah, it threw a code, and then it ended up doing about a 32-second quarter mile. It was so funny because I don't think it rev over like 3,000 RPM, something like that.
Charlie, if you're watching this, I apologize for what's going to be said.
Oh, man,
I think
it's so funny.
What made it so funny was Charlie's reaction getting back, thinking his car was just screwed. And then we popped the hood, and we're just like,
funk.
Go try again.
Yeah. Clear the codes. You're good to go.
I think he ran a decent time after that.
I think he actually ran like a 15 something.
Yeah. He cut his first time in half.
Isn't great, but it's not terrible.
Hey, who else can say they dropped 17 seconds off their quarter mile time?
That's true. That is next level stuff right there. Oh my god.
Times. Yeah. So much fun.
Yeah, it really was. Okay. Yep. So,
yeah. So we could pass the panda on to Charlie.
We could. So, okay, if anybody has any ideas about who to pass the panda on, let us know. I mean, this doesn't have to be just local to our area. Could definitely go out to anybody who's out there who has a very good sand panda moment. In fact, I would go as far as saying, if you have a really, really good fail moment, let us know. Send it, comment to in the comments in the YouTube section. Send us a private message if you want to.
Email us.
Whatever it is.
We'll give you Jake's address. You can send him a letter.
Precisely. And send it by whatever means. Let us know what your most epic fail is, and we'll send you some swag. Maybe we'll send you a hat with some decals. We've got a few.
Panda.
And then we'll send you a panda. Yeah, this one that's all greasy and nasty.
It's been zip tied to God.
Hopefully it's not screwing up the audio by me playing with that. He's attached to the microphone. So, but yeah. Yeah, and actually, just speaking with merch, like, we would normally have had a few more things in the works by now, but this whole COVID situation has just screwed everything up.
As you all know, 2020 is just a disaster.
It's a dumpster fire.
There's no happiness at all this year. So we're just going to start over fresh in 2021 and have our merch.
Yeah, we're just going to wait until then.
No concerts, no racing, no tattoo appointments. No happiness.
You can now. You can finally get tattoos now.
I can't, though.
You can't.
I can't. I need to wait until I have all my funds and maybe buy something before I start modifying my body more.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I can't even do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could modify it without having to go to the tattoo parlor.
Could.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway.
No, yeah. On this episode of Dad Mods.
Yeah, we show you how to do scarification. Yeah.
Not with a butter knife.
Do the butter knife. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think you guys have listened to us for almost an hour now.
Wow.
If you're actually still watching, thank you very much. This is the first or second installment, first one on the new software.
Yep. And
which hopefully doesn't look like it was filmed on a potato.
And if you're drunk from watching all of this, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, and turn your alarm on because tomorrow's Friday. You need to go to work.
Yes. Kiss your spouse. Tell them that you love them.
Hug your kids. Typical stuff.
Yep. Wash your freaking hands.
Don't yell at the dog. Be nice to dogs.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.